I'm going to see if I can do this again. You know, you just have to roll with the punches sometimes when it comes to Periscope. And hello there. Whoever that is, thank you for joining me again. I've done so many take twos with Periscope. It's funny. So I'm in the flow of things. I'm talking about such a serious topic, and there it goes. It's freezing on me. So back to what I was talking about, and I think I'll just start a little from the top just in case. Hi, Dave. Thank you for joining. So again, talking about how my story is better than yours and comparing our stories of abuse and trauma, which is, what we were talking about last night on our domestic violence chat on Twitter, and trying to figure out why it is that we compare our stories. Thanks for coming back, Beth. I appreciate it. And so, I was pondering that because I couldn't figure out, it just didn't make any sense to me why we would do something like that. And then it dawned on me today that it was a victim mentality that would cause some of us to do that sort of thing. Because being in a victim mentality, it's a very unhealthy place to be. That means you're still in that story of what happens to you. And we can be there for years. We can be there for years, staying in that story and what someone has done to us. And we're unable to grow, and we're unable to love ourselves, and we're unable to trust again. So we take that story and then we start comparing it to others. And I've always said that, when you experience something traumatic in your life, and it doesn't just have to be abuse, it could be divorce. I mean, I went through the abuse, discovering that I was abused, and then it was divorce, and it was so many things at one time. And so it could be a number of things. And, when you go through that, you can, hold on to this feeling of the world's done you wrong. Yes, we are. And that's what we have to realize. We are more than conquerors, Beth. And it takes a while because we sort of sit in this pity party. But I believe that you take that experience, and the best thing you can do is minister to other people who are going through some stuff. When I didn't know what to do with myself, I realized that it was going to be helping another woman. I might not have been far along in my walk in the healing process, but I knew that, hi Candy, thank you for joining. I knew that I was further along to where I could reach my hand out and pull another woman along with me. Now I've gotten to the point, thank you for joining me. Now I've gotten to the point where I can detect and I can tell right away when I'm in a group of other women that have experienced abuse or trauma, and they start in their story, I can tell they're still in the victim mode. That's why I think it's so important to, as you start that healing process, you move out of the victim mentality. You move into, I'm a survivor. I survived this. I've overcome this. Now that you recognize that, and you recognize all of the things, and that you're aware, you've taken your personal responsibility, you see where you've gone wrong, you've learned from your lessons, you're not going to make the same mistakes, then that's where you move into the survivor mode, and you say, okay, now I want to be able to move forward in my life from here. And so we take the stories in this victim mentality, we start to compare it, we start to judge it, and we sensationalize it. I know I've been having technical difficulties too. My screen keeps, freezing. And that's one of the reasons why I would talk really fast sometimes on my Periscope, because I'm afraid you're going to lose me. I've had a couple of them interrupted, but sensationalizing the story. And that is not helpful. So what's helpful is you take the time to become aware of what has happened to you. Look at your part in it, learn the lessons, and then go from there and say, okay, now how can my story be helpful? How can my story be helpful? So here is how it can be helpful. When you share not just what happened to you in such a dramatic way, that someone pinned you down, that someone choked you, that someone, stalked you, and, all the dramatics. But how did you find the courage to leave? How did you leave? Tell us about the courageous parts of that story. That's what's helpful. How did you stay away? Because it's difficult, and this is a question people ask a lot of times about why the victims go back to the abuser. And there are a lot of different reasons why that happens. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. Mark Shore was talking. I don't know if anyone out there is from Tag Tribes. I believe Beth is. If you're from Tag Tribes, if you would let me know, please. He was talking today that, it's not about the number of followers, but the amount of people that are engaged with you during your scopes and that are listening to you. And so, I know that I'm talking about a subject that's very deep and heavy. And so, everybody, Tag Tribes, and so a lot of my demographic is probably not going to be there, but I'm here for the ones that are. I'm here for the ones that need to hear what I have to say. And, if that's 10 people, if that's 6 people, whoever that is, that's fine. And so I'm using and utilizing the platform for what I can right now. And then I'm going to put this video everywhere. Yes, it was. And I'm so glad we have someone like him that can lead us and guide us with something like this, because social media, it can do a lot to the ego. When you're dealing with the number, oh, I've got so many hearts and I've got so many followers. It's like, oh, okay, great for you. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. What's going to be helpful in your story is talking about how you left, how you were able to stay away. And how do you cope and deal and grow from this point on to empower yourself and become a thriver of domestic abuse and not just a survivor anymore? So what you have to is just start telling a different version of your story. And that's what's going to be helpful for everyone else. This is not a race. The process of healing, it can take a while. And like I said, everyone's story is different and everyone's experience is going to be different. And I think it's important that we honor each other's voices. We respect each other's stories and the process that we're all on. And just know that we can be there for one another. And I have always felt that when you have gone through a situation that can be traumatic, or has taken you through a transition, a learning experience in your life, that was not just meant for you. That was meant for you to share and to help people, even if it's just on a small scale in your home, whatever you decide to do with it, but it's to help people in a very healthy way. So let's don't compare, let's don't judge, but let's love and respect each other's story. Absolutely, Beth. So, and for those of you that, I don't know if any of you caught my scope this morning, but I am doing a drawing on September the 7th for a free weekend retreat with me here in Florida, September 25th to 27th. And I'm going to do the drawing live on Periscope. For anyone that buys my book, Who the Hell Do You Think You Are, which is on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. And all the people that review my book, I'm going to put their names in a drawing and see who can win a free retreat weekend with me on the September 25th to the 27th in Beverly Beach, Florida. So I am excited about that. And I appreciate you all coming on with me tonight. And I will be back on because I am doing my 2 scopes a day. I was going to say 2 scoops, but my 2 scopes a day. Have you read it, Beth? Have you seen it? And so I'll be back on in the morning, even though I've got a busy day. And then I'll be on again next week. God, I'm so tired. I'll be on again tomorrow evening. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. So thank you again for joining me. And go out and change the world. Bye-bye. Bye, Beth.